Every year, on All Saints' Day, she appeared. A solitary figure, shrouded in the soft, dim light of the old village church, always taking her place in the very last pew. Her presence was a quiet mystery, a local legend whispered among the townsfolk of Oakhaven. She would sit through the entire service, her head bowed in what seemed to be silent, fervent prayer. Her face, etched with a timeless sorrow, was rarely seen clearly, always partially obscured by the shadows or a delicate, old-fashioned veil. The strangest part wasn't her sudden appearance each November 1st, but her disappearance. Parishioners would exchange knowing glances, their curiosity piqued. They would watch her, a still silhouette against the stained glass windows. But the moment the final hymn ended and the congregation began to stir, she would simply be gone. No one ever saw her walk out the heavy oak doors. It was as if she dissolved into the very air of the hallowed space, leaving behind only the scent of old lavender and an unanswered question. This went on for decades. Generations of Oakhaven residents grew up with the story of the lady in the last pew. Children would dare each other to try and speak to her, but a profound, almost sacred respect held them back. There was an aura of deep grief around her, a sorrow so palpable that it felt intrusive to disturb. She was as much a part of the All Saints' Day tradition as the lighting of candles for the departed. One year, a young, inquisitive historian named Arthur moved to the village. He was fascinated by local folklore, and naturally, the tale of the spectral parishioner caught his immediate attention. He spent months poring over old church records, town archives, and dusty diaries, determined to uncover the identity of this mysterious woman. He listened patiently to the elders, piecing together fragments of sightings and second-hand accounts that stretched back nearly a century. The breakthrough came from a faded baptismal record dated 1885. A name: Ilara. The record was cross-referenced with a marriage certificate and, tragically, a death certificate from just a few years later. The story began to form. Ilara was a young woman, deeply in love with her husband, a sailor named Thomas. They were inseparable, their joy a bright light in the small community. One autumn, Thomas's ship was caught in a brutal, unexpected storm in the North Atlantic. Weeks turned into months with no word. Ilara refused to give up hope. Every single day, she would come to the church, sit in the last pew, the one with the clearest view of the path leading from the sea, and pray for his safe return. She prayed for a miracle, her faith a burning ember against the cold winds of despair. But Thomas never came back. His ship was declared lost at sea, with all hands. The official date of his presumed death was recorded as November 1st, All Saints' Day. The news shattered Ilara. Her heart, they said, simply gave out. She passed away not long after, consumed by a grief too vast for her mortal body to contain. Following the clues, Arthur walked out of the church and into the ancient cemetery that bordered it. The air was crisp, the fallen leaves crunching under his feet. He searched among the weathered headstones, moss and time obscuring many of the names. And then he found it. A simple, elegant stone, partially hidden beneath an overgrown ivy. The inscription was faint, but still legible. Ilara, beloved wife, reunited with her Thomas in the arms of the Lord. The stone was cold to the touch. Arthur stood there for a long moment, the pieces of the puzzle clicking into place. Ilara wasn't just a visitor to the church, she was a permanent resident of its sacred grounds. Her spirit, bound by love and unending hope, was still keeping its vigil. She wasn't waiting for a miracle anymore. She was simply remembering. The next All Saints' Day, Arthur attended the service. And there she was, the woman in the last pew, her form as ethereal and constant as ever. But now he saw her not as a ghost to be feared or a mystery to be solved, but as a testament to a love that time could not erase. He saw a soul returning to the place where her heart had last found solace, praying not for a return, but in memory of a love that was eternal. As the service concluded, Arthur didn't watch for her to disappear. Instead, he bowed his own head and whispered a small prayer for Alara and Thomas. He understood now. She didn't need to leave the church through the doors because, in a way, she was already home. Her story had become a part of the church's very stones, a poignant reminder that some bonds are so strong, not even death can break them. The lady in the last pew wasn't a haunting, she was a love story, told in silence year after year. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the story of Alara. If you enjoyed this tale, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more stories that explore the mysteries that surround us. We'd love to have you as part of our community. Until next time, stay curious.